Vibe Talks. Vibe Talks. More than just music.
This is Nina Calirai reporting for Vibe 105. Weightlifting and training is something many are used to seeing adults partake in, but not children. However, that doesn't mean there aren't children who partake in this sport, some even as young as 7 years old. Joining me now to further discuss the risks and benefits behind weightlifting for children is Melissa Salvadori, Program Manager for Fit Kids at Bomb Fitness. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I am good, thank you. So first question, what is the goal of Fit Kids at Bomb Fitness?
The goal is basically to just get kids out there moving, start to become aware of how to move their body, discover what their abilities are, and get them really thinking about being active, different ways to be active, and kind of get them thinking about making healthier choices. So when they get into adulthood, they're kind of equipped for all of that, and they can become better, conscious adults.
And one of the programs offered at Bomb Fitness is a junior lifters class. So tell me a little bit about this class and what it focuses on.
So the junior lifters class is basically a 6-week program for kids aged 8 and above, and it's focused on teaching them about proper form, technique, and safety when they are beginning to lift weights. So it focuses on also helping them get to know their body and really learn how to build strength and conditioning safely and effectively. Even professional athletes do a variety of strength training and conditioning, and some kids take this program to become better at sports if they're already in sports programs, or kids who just don't really have very good balance and technique already. They kind of want to build up on that and focus on improving their flexibility and their strength in a variety of different ways. That's basically what it focuses on, just kind of helping them get towards that goal and those different types of goals.
What's the age range of the participants in the junior lifters class?
So it's 8 and above, but usually the cutoff is around 15 or 16 years old. After that point, they're a little bit old, and we kind of push them out of the program, and that's when they can kind of start coming to our adult classes with their parents or on their own. So usually it's about 8 to 15, I would say.
A lot of times we hear people say that kids lifting weights stunts their growth. What are some of the risks and benefits behind kids weightlifting?
Yes, for sure. So that's a really big thing that's going around. There's a lot of pros and a lot of cons, but when done properly, strength training actually won't damage growing bones at all. There's a lot of backed up medical research surrounding that whole issue as well. And it's really just, it has a strong emphasis on doing it properly. So of course kids can get hurt and they can, damage themselves or, become injured if they're doing something ineffectively or not with the right training or proper supervision. But kids are honestly lifting things heavier than some of the weights we have in the gym and some of the weights that we use on a daily basis. So for example, they have really heavy backpacks with huge textbooks and lunch bags that they walk home to and from school with when they ride their bikes or they're climbing trees, jumping from and climbing on playground structures. Those are all exerted with a lot more force than they would actually see in our program. But in our program, we also kind of tailor it to each child's needs. So it's not really like a cookie cutter program that is centered around everybody doing the exact same thing. We tailor the weights and we tailor the movements and all of the different kinds of exercises that we give the kids to each individual child and what their specific abilities are and what their goals are. We also discuss all of this with their parents beforehand, but there's also been research that supports that strength training and conditioning, even at a young age, starting from around 7 or 8 years old and higher, does help kids with mental health issues. It does give them a sense of confidence when they're walking around or when they're doing other daily activities. And they're always very closely supervised by a qualified and experienced trainer that uses the right equipment with the proper techniques for their specific body type and abilities.
How do you guys make classes like junior lifters fun for kids? Because I know for sure as a kid, lifting weights wasn't something I could be tricked into as exercise. So whereas sports such as soccer or basketball, that's a little bit easier to get kids to just do and without them knowing it's exercise. So how exactly, do you guys make this a fun program for kids?
We try and make the kids kind of aware that it's not necessarily their free time to play around with a bunch of weights and throw them around and do all this kind of really crazy stuff, but it's mainly just focusing like any other conditioning program or any other program where kids are in that are heavily involved with building their strengths and their abilities and coordination, like training camps for hockey or training camps for soccer. Like I know when I was a kid, I went to training camps and it wasn't necessarily a fun experience because it was just, training back and forth, super hard stuff, always focusing on form and technique. But I knew that it was something that was going to make me a better player in the long run. So I was kind of interested in it in that sense, not so much expecting it to be this huge fun thing, but we always give the kids certain incentives and we give them goals to reach for every single week. So it motivates them to kind of work on their skills and get better each week. So they're motivated to kind of come back and try and show us that they can do better. And some of them even send us videos when they're at home throughout the week, and their parents are sending us stuff that they're climbing up the walls or they're climbing between door frames, and they're trying to get better so that when they come back the next week, they're ready and prepared and they can show us how much more strength they have. So it's really kind of based around like competition, I guess you would say. Lots of kids are really competitive, so they really like to compete with one another and compete with themselves. And I feel like that speaks more for itself than we do for kind of getting the kids back. It's most of the time the kids who are always interested in trying to use the weights. Even when we don't have our junior lifters program, in our after school program, for example, all the kids want to run to the weight rack. They want to show us how much they can lift. They want to show us what moves they know and what kind of exercises they know. So a lot of the time it is interest of the kids, surprisingly enough.
Speaking on this interest of the kids, what are some of the reasons that you've heard kids are interested in participating in classes such as junior lifters, or just like what makes them so attracted to the weights, do you feel?
I feel like because it's an object that they can play around with, just like a toy that a child uses for, enhancing their cognition abilities. They know that this is something that they see a lot of adults doing as well. Like a lot of their parents sometimes are members at our gym and they see them working out, they see them coming to classes, and they maybe want to follow in their parents' footsteps and just show their parents that, hey, I can do this. I can lift this weight too. I want to be strong just like my dad or just like my mom or just like my sister, or, other kids in my class are bigger than me, and maybe I want to feel like I can lift some weights and I can feel strong in a different way. So a lot of the kids, I feel like, get inspiration from all of the adults who are here working out at the gym when we're here every day, or even their parents or people that they know that are all working out or into a healthy lifestyle and doing all of these active things. I think that's what also drives them to want to kind of participate in that kind of thing.
And so what are some of the other programs offered for kids at Bomb Fitness?
So we do have an after-school program that runs at two of our locations. So we have one location at Danforth and Coxwell, and our other location is at Kingston Road and Beach. And that program is basically for kids age 6 to 11, and it includes us picking up the kids from schools around the area. And we pick them up from school after school. We bring them back to the gym. We do fitness-related activities, obstacle courses, circuits. We work on all of their strength and mobility and flexibility throughout the week. And we also do edible crafts throughout the week to teach them about healthy choices and nutrition and shopping locally and being really responsible consumers. And we do that at both of those locations throughout the entire school year. And in the summertime, we also offer our Bomb Fitness Camp, which is what we are running currently.
And last question, where can listeners go for more information on Bomb Fitness and the classes that are offered?
So they can follow us on Instagram, Bomb Fitness, or on our Facebook page, or they can also just head over to our website at www.bombfitnesskids.ca. That's specifically for the kids programs, and our regular website for all of our other classes and adult programs is just straight up bombfitness.ca.
And unfortunately, that's all the time we have left for today. Melissa, thank you so much for speaking with me and raising awareness of the risks and benefits when it comes to children participating in weightlifting.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me.
And now back to your Vibe